Welcome back into another episode of the Phoenix Truth Rising Show. This is the Spaceman 2.0 with the best history, lesson, and spiritual insights on the planet, here to help you grow in the knowledge and wisdom of truth, and the truth will set you free. Exposure of the Illuminati's plan of world conquest and control is the death knell to the New World Order. So we all know that they want to bring back their Antichrist. Anti is just he who is in the stead of, or who is a mimicker or a mocker of Christ. So he will seem to pretend to be, but he will not be that. Even Izu Emmanuel warned the people. He says, when people start saying that I am here and I am there, do not believe them, because I will not be there at that time. So, with that being said, how do you recognize the Antichrist? That which is against God within. So in the last episode, we went into monitoring your thoughts, words, deeds, and actions for the following clues. We went into the word watch. So monitor or watch, W can stand for words, A for actions, T for thoughts, C for character, and H for heart. So if you pay attention to your altered ego, that other aspect of you that's there to help you survive, to not jump off the cliff, to not run across the street if you hear cars coming. It helps you become aware that your physical body needs to be kept safe. Well, you also have that inferior, superior aspects within that altered ego that wants to play out, trying to prove itself. So comparison is the cause of all suffering on the planet, basically. You can use that as a rule of thumb. So in the last episode, we started with number 1, inferiority or superiority thoughts and feelings. In this episode, we'll go over number 2 and continue on until we get to the next chapter, which is recognizing and defining the most deadly sins of human. And if you thought there was only 7, you might be astonished to see that there is 12. So that will be an interesting read for us all to understand where we all make faults and failings in terms of our altered ego, considering these deadly sins like pride and so on. So with that being said, let's move into number 2. The Antichrist robs you of the now or present moment, which is what you truly only have, is this moment now. Everything else is an illusion. The past is gone. The future is just an assumption. You actually don't know what's about to take place. Therefore, you can only live right now. You can only be aware right now in totality. So to be aware of the now is actually what Christ was trying to tell you to be. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven within, and it's in the now. You can only attain a state of peace when your mind is in the present moment. The yin-yang with the line through the middle represents that. Same with the tree of life, and the middle path represents that. So, number 2, the Antichrist robs you of the now or present moment. It is very simple how this is done. The Antichrist keeps your altered ego in the past guilt orientation or future fear orientation. This is how your reality manifestation abilities are controlled, because you can only create with love. And the Antichrist knows this. He doesn't have power to create. That's why he has to confuse and deceive men to create for him, but his sinful nature, not the truth. Because really, evil does not exist in nature. It only exists in the intent of man or the portent of man. So Satan or demons, negative energies, other human beings that are on the dark side always try to confuse and manipulate other men towards making choices that is not fully aware of the truth, and therefore he even gets people to do things that they shouldn't or don't want to do. And that's all through fear and guilt. As you wallow around in your past, reliving experiences with regret and self-pity, you cannot work in the present moment to change or create more desirable circumstances. This is why many of you may have heard of the great wisdom of forgiveness and release of all past emotional and physical thoughts, words, and deeds. One must forgive self and all others. Remember that this does not mean that you don't garner the wisdom of knowledge and truth from the lessons of the experience, because that is why you created the experience in the first place, to grow in your awareness of the truth. The same rule about past orientation is true for those who spend countless hours reliving pleasant past memories at the expense of living in and creating the now. A rather appropriate cliche along this line says, "It's all right to look back, just don't stare." Now, future fear orientation is a big stumbling block for all of humanity. Fear in itself is a great separator of the human creature from its creator. Fear is the biggest tool of the Antichrist within. Since the highest command of the creation is to achieve the wisdom of knowledge, inasmuch as this will enable you to wisely follow all of the laws of the creation, then it stands to reason that recognizing the truth in all things, including your immortal connection with God, will vanquish from your being any fear of some future experience. Since you, as an immortal soul God fragment, are the master of your destiny. You see, fear paralyzes the senses and only can manifest within the being if he sees himself as separate from his creator rather than a fragment of the one. It is this illusion of being separate from the one that has trapped humans within the false bondage of fear. If one recognizes the truth and is willing to see the manifested illusion as it really is, one will see the natural balance and inner peace that is achieved by trusting the Father within and wisely following the laws of balance given by God and the creation. This now brings us to the point of remembering and understanding the law of one. All beings and creations are equal in the reflection of God. Only each is different in abilities, talents, and beingness as an expression of the one. You see, there cannot exist any separation. All come from the one great source of all, the creation, and all will return to our source, the one. Humans exist as individual fragments of the whole, a fragment of, and if you will, seeded with all unlimited potential. Remember we went over that? Unlimited light, unlimited potential of God awareness and wisdom. Ein Sof, unlimited potential of God awareness and wisdom. When we love the essence of spirit within all, there is no longer any illusion of separation. We are simply honoring God within ourselves and all others. We no longer are separated by our fears and unworthiness. We are God's expression of life. We are the spirit of life itself. So let's finish off this episode with beautifully illustrating it with the tree of life. There cannot exist any separation. All come from the one great source of all, the creation. And all will return to our source, the one. Humans exist as individual fragments of the whole, a fragment of, and if you will, seeded with all unlimited potential, Ein Sof, of God's awareness and wisdom. Wisdom unites opposites. When we love the essence of spirit within all, there is no longer any illusion. When we love, wisdom and love, any illusion of separation, we are simply honoring God within ourselves and all others. We no longer are separated by our fears and unworthiness. We are God's expression of life. We are the spirit of life itself. So with that being said, may you remember that you're made in the image of God, you're made in the image of a tree, and you express this holy truth. You can read it right there, eloquently. This is the Spaceman 2.0, and I'm out.